Good afternoon. It is Thursday, April 11th. Skipped yesterday, worked a full day, and, just sort of edited and had leftovers. And I will say one thing. When I made the leftovers of the tacos, I got another 3 tacos, so basically another full dinner. But it was almost just as much work as the first time I made it. Even microwaving to heat things up, it just still such a process to cut everything up to get so much stuff out. I'm like, yeah, a lot of work. Oh well. Today I got up only an hour early, so should, I guess, be doing pretty good this week. I got home, sort of been relaxing a little bit, thinking, well, what do I want to do? Something to eat, and thinking a couple things, because I got cheese. And I want to use the cheese while I got the cheese. I could do an omelet. I was thinking about that, but I was like, but I still got 3 tortillas left in the pack, and I still got some salsa. I'm like, let's just make some quick quesadillas. Might not fill me up for the rest of the evening, but that'll be at least something really tasty. So, figure out. And really, it's kind of like making grilled cheese, only tortillas instead of bread, and you can put jalapenos in some of them, and yeah, it'll make it work. Also, I have 3 tortillas and only 2 fit in there at a time, so I'm going to end up making 2 and then having to have half of them come out, and then I'll figure it out. And that looks delicious. Mostly, okay, maybe one side of one of the 3 quesadillas got burnt as I was trying to shuffle around cooking 3 of them in a pan that only fits 2. But you know what? 2 out of 3 ain't bad. That was delicious. Absolutely delicious. Now, admittedly, it's just cheese. It's basically cheese is delicious. And particularly because I don't get it a huge amount. Cheese lasts a fair amount of time until you open it. But once you open it, it doesn't last a huge amount of time. You kind of got to use it relatively quick, or it can go bad. And it's expensive. Cheese is so expensive. And there's so many different types. So when you get one, you would either have to do like my mom does, and she stocks 5 different kinds of cheese at any given time. I do not get how one would afford that. That baffles me. But for me, on a budget, it's I'd have to pick just one, and I'm always very cautious, do I get cheese, do I not? Anyway, so I got cheese for the tacos, and in doing so, I just looked for what way of getting cheese was the best deal. And so I was able to get a little more than I absolutely needed, so I was able to have more for that. I still have some more in the bag. Probably have an omelet, at least, with it. Cheese is just good. I'm eating that. I'm like, this is great. Why is it so good? It's so simple. Oh, it's cheese. Alright, so I've gotten a bit more work done and starting to think, alright, let's start thinking about dinner. And I think I am going to do an omelet. And when I made an omelet, what was it? 2 weeks ago? Not last Sunday, but the prior. I had, basically what I had cheese, jalapenos, both of which I still have left over from the taco stuff. That's part of it. And then I had bacon. Now, I don't have bacon, but I was thinking about it today. It's well, I did pick up those little heat and serve sausage links. And I just got them because they were kind of cheap. And I was like, that's something interesting I can try. But I bet I could chop those up, and those would be a good meat to go inside of an omelet. So I'm going to start by making, well, there's 10 in here. I'm going to make 5. So I got the sausage there, and it's all kind of cooked. Now I got some jalapenos on, just sort of getting those warmed up and chopped in half. And then I got the egg mixture over here. Other than swapping out bacon for sausage, I'm basically doing the same thing I did Sunday before last when I made an omelet. Worked out pretty well with the cover, even though, like I said then, no online thing ever says, cover it to cook the top of the egg, but works for me. There's that. So real quick. And let it resettle. Give it a little shake to make sure it does so. And lid so that the top cooks while the bottom cooks. So I've got a nice low heat. Got my mixture in there. Once it starts to settle in there, I'll throw this on as well as the cheese. Get the insides all melty. And I'm just kind of sitting here watching it through the glass so I can kind of shake it and see what jiggles. Let me see parts in the center of it. I don't know if you can tell the glare. You can see the center isn't quite jiggling, and you can tell because the pepper that's in with the egg will move or not. So it's starting to solidify. And oh yeah, like this side over here is pretty good. It's just this side that's still coming together, and it doesn't have to completely solidify before I put the other stuff in because it'll cook a little more, but I want to get it pretty close. And there we go. So we got that again, still a little just along the edges here that's not solid, but got the toppings in and the cheese, and really that's what's going to make this. It's going to be, again, the cheese is so good and something I just don't get as often as I like, so I don't know. Might actually finish up the cheese on this. Might have a little left, but if so, not much. Yeah, it's been really gone through quite a bit of cheese in the last few days. But it's been a few delicious days. Some more work than others. This, for example, not much work at all. It's actually pretty easy, pretty reasonable. Again, like the tacos, it doesn't leave like leftovers, but at least it's not an excessive amount of work. And it didn't come out quite as cleanly this time. You can kind of tell around the bottom there. It broke. Some stuff got out. Just didn't come out as neatly. Now the reason, I'm fairly sure, is because I used this pan instead of my other one. For example, I'm actually having to hold this above to radiate the heat back down and melt the cheese because this is a slightly bigger pan. This pan, like the lid does not fit on the plate. Because it was a slightly bigger pan, I used one more egg than I did last time, so it's a slightly bigger meal. But, yeah, just it cooked a bit differently, and ultimately it did not come out as clean from the pan. Still looks delicious, still looks very, very cheesy, and melty, and goodness. So I'm still have high hopes for it, but just not quite as nice of a presentation. Still, should be good. Wonderful, and yeah, the eggs have definitely a different texture. They ended up a bit pillowy. But using the sausage in there was real nice. Because the bacon had like crunchy bits and it was a very different texture. The sausage makes a nice texture to go with it, so that was good. Again, you know, only second time I've made an omelet. Still, I guess, figuring it out. Some things are improvement from last time, sometimes the opposite. But you know what? Egg and cheese and meat and peppers. Can't go wrong. I suppose I could, but I didn't. So that was a wonderful dinner. Like I said, didn't quite look as pretty as I might have looked, but it still tasted fantastic and was enough to fill me up. So that's, I suppose, the important part. Really, I don't know. I'm having that, and I'm having things today. I'm thinking, do I want to try and get cheese more often? It's expensive, but it does taste good. I don't know. And I don't know. But definitely putting some thought into it. Otherwise, did some more work. Got another session video exporting overnight. I've got like several of those sitting off to the side. I need to actually like get those uploaded. But I'm just kind of working on the idea of let's just keep pushing this ahead, and then I'll upload them And then I'll just worry about filling the in-between weeks when it gets closer, and yeah. That's what I've been working on as far as editing lately, is trying to get that pushed ahead. But otherwise, we're kind of getting on with the evening. And I keep thinking, I was looking at the upcoming weather. And we're basically spring has sprung. It's you know, it was like 70 even like this morning. And looking like most of the weather is, you know, 60s and 70s for the next 10-day forecast. You know, maybe a dip into high 50s, but we're pretty much at the point where I no longer need this. I may still need like a hoodie or something. You know, we're gonna get some chilly days still, I'm sure, as we bounce around in the weather. But I figure the actual leather jacket that I use for winter, that can hang up. That I think I'm probably done with for the season. Glad it's finally getting warmer. But yeah, so I'm gonna hang this up. I'm getting to bed. Thank you for joining me, and join me as my journey continues. Bye.